Okay, so right now we have the lamest color wheel in the world because it's not really a color wheel, it's just a color. So what we want to do instead is this. We want to create the wheel. And I'm going to tell you right now that there are steps. And I'm going to go through the steps with you. And then I have them written down so you can write them down. And I recommend you to write notes on these steps because it's going to be a repetitive thing. And I'm going to teach you a pretty much a secret command that doesn't exist in Photoshop. It's a thing, it works, but you couldn't find it in a menu anywhere. Okay, so we're going to start out with shape 1 selected. Okay, and we're going to hold down, and we're going to be big on key commands, and it's really how this is going to work. Okay, so we're going to hold down Command J, and we duplicate that. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to do a free transform. And again, key commands. So the free transform key command, that's going to be Command or Control T. So Control T. And when I do that, what I get up here is I get a bunch of different things that I can modify. And something really important is this thing here in the top left corner, and this is called your reference point location. And it's a bounding box with a bunch of little white dot or a bunch of little spots for a dot. And I'm going to click on the right here, which would be at the bottom or the foot of my object here. And I want to point something out, that there is this little cross here. This thing right here, right? That's what the reference point is. So that's what we're changing. We're just putting it right at the foot there. And then I'm going to come over to here because we can change a bunch of things. And we're going to come over here where it says rotate. And this is where we can put in an angle. And I'm just going to add 30 to whatever this field is. So 0 plus 30 is 30. And 30 is going to be the magic number that I work with in this project. And I'm going to say OK by either hitting the return key or this little check mark right here. And cool. So now I've gone ahead and I've got a duplicate. But it's red. It's red on red. It's still not a color wheel. It's just two color shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my shape 1 copy, make sure I'm on the new one, okay, the uppermost layer, and I'm going to go click, click. The color picker opens up. I can move all around the color picker, but instead I am just going to go ahead and use that magic number of 30, and I'm going to add it to whatever value is here in H or hue. So 30, and I'm going to say OK, and check it out. We have a red and we have an orange, just like a color wheel. Now, that's the really important thing, that setup, because that setup will lead to the next thing being successful. So I have to make sure I'm using key commands. So again, I'm going to say Command J. And instead of saying Command T, I'm going to hold down Shift Command T. And what this is, guys, is this is that secret command I was telling you about. Again, it's Shift Command T. And what that does is that will go ahead and it will duplicate the transformation. So it duplicated that rotation of that 30-degree angle. And then I'm going to go ahead and go click, click, and add 30 to whatever number is there. So 30 and 30, that would be 60. And then I'm not going to start from scratch again. I'm going to go ahead and say Command J, Shift Command T, double click here, and add 30 to my hue value. So 30 and 60 is 90. And I'm going to do this until I go ahead and I end up with all of these different shapes. Now I'm going to say right now, 90 and 120 are super similar, but they are different from one another. So don't get confused, okay? So Command J, Shift Command T, double click here. 30 plus 120 is 150. I'd also like to point out that if you screw up and if you accidentally hit Command T, not Shift Command T, you have to go back and you have to do this again. I'm sorry, but that is just the way it goes. So don't screw up, okay? Or if you do, you're going to get some good practice. That's all. And I know that that sounds heartless, but I don't know what to tell you. I'm a heartless person, okay? And that just is what it is. So again, as I'm talking here, Command J, Shift Command T, double click on the uppermost shape, add 30 to this field, 270. Command J, Shift Command T, double click on that shape, add 30 to 270 is 300. And Command J, Shift Command T, double click up here, add 30 to 300, that's 330. And this is where I'm going to end. I'm going to end at 330 because if I kept going and I got to 360, well, that's the same exact value as red, because 360 and 0 are the same exact value on a wheel. So what I have for you here is I have the notes, okay? And I want you to follow these things down. I want you to write these things down. So you're not just doing it off of like watching the video and just trying to follow along. I'd rather you write these things down, watch the video, write these things down, and then go back and give it a try. So again, you will select the shape layer and you're going to duplicate it with Command J. Then you're going to make sure you have that new layer selected. From there, you're going to use Free Transform or Command T, and you're going to change that reference point in the top left corner. Then you're going to add 30 to the angle value, to the rotational value, okay? You're going to OK that with either the check mark or hitting return. Then you're going to double click on that shape layer and a color picker is going to open up, and you're going to add 30 to whatever that H value is, and you're going to click OK, and then you're going to hit save. And you're doing awesome, okay? You want to hit save often. I didn't save my file over there, and if like something happened, I'd be kicking myself. So you want to hit save. And now this is really important. From this point on, we really got to use key commands, and we're going to do the secret command, okay? So then you're going to go ahead, and after that, you're going to hit Command J again. That will duplicate that second layer you made to a third layer. Then you're going to hold down Shift, Command, and T, and that duplicates the angle rotation, the transformation. And then you're going to double click on the shape layer again, the new one. The color picker will open up. You're going to add 30 to whatever the H value is. So when it was 0 and you added 30, you got 30. If it's 30 and you add 30, you get 60. And you're going to do that, and you're going to repeat steps 9 through 12 until you get all the way to a hue value of 330. If you screw up, or if it just stops working on you, you screwed up. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that means you didn't do a key command correctly. My suggestion to you is to just start over and do it as many times as you need to until you get this kind of thing down. And this secret command that we found, that we're using here, this is going to be really useful later on down the road. So it's a really good thing to have. And remember, when all is said and done, you should have a color wheel, and it should kind of look like this. So congratulations, and I will leave you with the notes.